Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another fabulous, colorful Ask an Engineer. I'm Lady Ada, I'm the engineer. With me is Phil on camera control.
Hello.
We're broadcasting live from downtown Manhattan in the Adafruit shipping and receiving area.
That's right.
Check out our loading dock. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, the loading dock area, well, in the freight elevators. Then you can also see our puppet storage. There's the Adabot.
Puppet storage.
So
and then your desk is like here.
Yeah, I sit over there sometimes.
Okay, anyways, Adabot's in the background.
Yeah.
Alright, we got an exciting show tonight. We have color-changing scarves.
That's right.
We have tutorials, we have projects, we have lots of cats.
Yeah.
What's on tonight's show?
On tonight's show, the code is color. Use the code color on checkout, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store. We'll talk about the show and tell. Massive show and tell tonight.
Huge.
Yep.
Colorful.
Monday's Memorial Day. We'll talk about details for your shipments and more. We'll go over news, including big week in the world of cats of engineering. We got Mailbag, Time Travel Tuesday, the Adafruit Learning System, Wearable Wednesday, 3D Thursday, Pi Day, new products, maybe a little bit of top secret action. We'll see. Your questions, trivia question, all that and more on Ask an Engineer. Okay. Well, let's let's pay some bills real quick. Code is color, 10% off everything in the Adafruit store. We have a lot of stuff in stock.
We did hit a point finally last week where we actually couldn't make any more stuff to put in the store. Anything that was out of stock was like we actually couldn't make it because we were missing inventory. Like we were waiting for PCBs or something, or like something, we had a delay from manufacturer, but we actually caught up. Like the pick and place wasn't running on Thursday.
Yeah.
It was off.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was like finally we didn't have a huge pile of stuff we had to get through. It was great.
Yeah. We're now at the point where we have to order probably some more parts and more PCBs.
We're ordering more parts. We're also kind of tracking down delayed parts, and so that's where we're at to now. But many things are in stock. Almost everything that the pick and place makes is in stock right now.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, next up, let's go to the show and tell.
Show and tell was pretty intense.
Yeah, show and tell was intense. We got a bunch of cool stuff.
Okay.
Let's start going through it. I'm going to hit the chat while you go through these.
Okay. We had Chris Young, who came back, and he had a helicopter that was IR controlled, but the normal IR control was kind of like crummy, and he didn't like using it, and it was difficult for him to use it, so he created his own IR controller with an Arduino, and it was awesome. He also told us about somebody who can control an IR helicopter using only their neck muscles. Like they use like some sensor, and they were like controlling a helicopter that way, and that sounds really cool. Hopefully he'll share us a link, and we'll post it on the blog. Eric showed up on the show and tell. He has a beehive. He had bees, and he wants to log the data from his beehives. So he got like a whole bunch of one-wire sensors, not the 18DS B20. He used the 18DS S20, which doesn't have bees in it, even though he's sensing bees. I pointed that out to him. He says maybe next time more bees. And he's also doing humidity sensing. And he's got like 90 sensors in this hive. It's pretty intense, and he's going to be logging it with an Arduino. Anyways, it's really cool. I'm into that kind of stuff because, like, if you're going to keep bees, you should just like collect data about them because it's just so cool. There's just swarms of bees. Okay, John showed up. He just started with Arduino like a few months ago, like November.
Yeah. And
it seems like he's a student. He's a young man. He's a student, and he picked up he was interested in real-time clocks, and he built his own alarm clock because his alarm clock broke, and so he built his own. And it was like blue, and it was really cool.
Yeah. And
he's like, that wasn't good enough, so then he built a watch with like the circular LED thing, and the RTC in the middle, and then this like mini Arduino. And he built like the really cool looking watches. Like one's green, one's blue, and he made it so the circuit board's the same size as an iPod Shuffle.
Yeah.
Right.
The iPod latest generation, because there's watches.
The one that's like this big.
Yeah, with
a
screen on
it. That has watch faces.
Yeah, everyone turned into watches.
Anyways, okay, Ken.
Well, wait. I mentioned this in the show and tell, and people can look at this in because it's automatically recorded and posted to YouTube.
Yeah.
What a cool hobby! Out of all the hobbies you can have, if you start getting into electronics, within 6 months you can actually make your own watch that lights up, that glows, that does things. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Not a lot of other hobbies you get that far that fast.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sorry. After that, Ken showed up. He was teaching some of his daughter's friends how to do electronics. And they made RGB throwies, but they made like smart throwies that like when they get stuck on something they turn on, and when you remove them they turn off.
Yeah.
And he used our like our RGB LEDs that like color swirl, so like they're kind of colorful and fun. And he used a choke resistor, so they last like a week. That's kind of nice. So it's easy. It's like a low cost project. You can do it for $1 each.
Yeah.
Raymond showed up. He had a bring your kids to work day at Google. I guess he works at Google, and so he wanted to do like a STEM project, and so he built this really adorable little robot. And a lot of people think of robots as like they have to like be cars, but his robot actually only turns around.
Yeah.
And it looks for the closest item, and then it shines a light on it.
It looked like Johnny Five, and it was called Paranoid Android.
It was the Paranoid Android. It was maybe a paranoid that something nearby it is coming to kill it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy S. showed up, and he had this cool servo drive controlled LED thing for his RC airplane.
Yeah.
He wanted like landing lights and navigation lights that could be easily controlled with his like RC controller. So he like made his own dev board, and there's like lots of purple boards, cool stuff going on there. We'll see more of it. He says he'll take a video, maybe show us later.
Yeah. Everybody on the Show and Tell will receive an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com if you're on the Show and Tell, and
Get a sticker.
you get a sticker. Lady Ada, how do people get on the Show and Tell?
It's really easy. Go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/plus_Adafruit. Find the post where you say, hey, comment here to be added to the Show and Tell circle. Comment there. We will add you to the Show and Tell circle. And then every single week, Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's us. That's where we are in New York. You will get invited to join the Hangout. Join the Hangout. It will automatically be recorded to YouTube. Show off your project. Show as many times as you want. Just make sure you show a project. It's that easy.
Alrighty. Okay.
Monday.
Monday is Memorial Day, so any shipment won't happen until Tuesday.
That's right. UPS and Postal do not pick up or deliver on those days.
Yeah, one thing that we do is we give free shipping to military bases. We've always done this.
Yes.
So if you're in the military, we have lots of.
If you're an APO, FPO,
yeah,
it's free shipping. And
Yeah.
if it for some reason doesn't work, just email us and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the addresses are a little funky.
Yeah.
We try to detect all of them.
So what we did on Monday is everybody at Adafruit has a day off.
Yay!
Everybody, even if they're hourly or part-time, everybody got the day off, paid day off at Adafruit.
Yeah.
Big deal. And we're only Lady Ada and I are coming into the factory.
We're coming in.
We're locking the door behind us so no one could even get in if they wanted, and we're actually just going to do a couple projects.
We're going to caper around.
Yeah, we just want to do...
Capers.
We just want to be working on some projects, because running an Adafruit means you don't get to do as many...
I think it's so much engineering done on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm going to get like 6 months worth done.
Yeah.
I have to.
So that's what we're going to do. And then tomorrow we're filming some stuff with Colin.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun.
Everyone loves Colin videos.
Yeah, so we're working on that tomorrow. Anyways, let's keep going. This is we're in the news section. This is neat. This is from Maker Faire. This photo is from Evil Mad Science. And someone had started out a hacker scout, and they have a badge tree, and they have
like unicorns.
Yeah, and they have our they're using our badges to make this new thing called Hacker Scouts. And I'm starting to see this happening a lot, where people are making their own versions of Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever, but they're Maker Scouts or Hacker Scouts, and the skill badges are being utilized really well.
Yeah, it's neat. I like it.
So, next up. This came in, this was kind of neat. Someone made their own purple RGB LED, and
It's got 4 legs.
Yeah, to go along with
Ruby.
With our puppets. And so this is a puppet, and it lights up just like our puppets that we have over here. And then they also made puppets of us. So
That's us.
What's funny is it actually looks like us. So these are Ask an Engineer puppets, and
that looks a lot like you.
Yeah,
and that kind of looks like a lot like me.
Yeah, and
that is my hair color. They got it perfect. That is exactly the color of my hair. Yeah, and I also look like that. Like in the morning after my first coffee. Whee!
And then what they also did is they put your eyes are laser beams.
Yeah.
So check out the blog.
Which is true.
Yeah,
which is also true.
Which is true.
Pew!
So I thought that was pretty
Check out the
neat.
blog. There's a video.
Yeah. Next up, did you read this post from Kevin?
I did not.
Okay. Well, he has an EE bookshelf post that he does.
He was doing some DSP stuff. I'll be totally 100% honest. I have never done any DSP work. Mostly because I'm just like, that's crazy. You could do that all with an op amp. Why the hell would you get a DSP involved? But like, some people like DSPs. He's been doing DSP stuff. Check it out. I didn't read this article because I'm like, yeah. Right. I do dig the frequency domain, but like, I'm more of like a continuous, not discrete type lady.
Okay.
What?
Glad I finally know.
It's true.
You're always sending out mixed signals. Ha ha ha. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we updated Cats of Engineering. So if you go to adafruit.com/cats of engineering.
Look at this cat.
Yeah.
Look at that desk. That's a nice desk.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
These are some nice photos.
It's just a cat with a battery.
Yeah.
And
so we have this section of the site that I just was gonna have like a couple of photos. Cats of Engineering,
just
right?
like two.
Just like two. I'm like, oh, maybe people.
It was basically Mosfet on the Pick and Place.
Yeah, it was Mosfet on the Pick and Place.
And then Rachel on the 555.
Yeah, and there was just like a couple of cats that people had near oscilloscopes, and so what it did though is it opened up the floodgates. So every time we post up a cat on the Cats of Engineering thing, people see it and then they send their cats in. So there's a lot of cats.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. So we just did our update.
Okay.
And
Radiovac cat.
And if you just want to,
that's a nice bench supply cat.
Yeah.
Okay, Texscope. This is like Texscope cat.
I like this one because the cat just looks smart.
Yeah. It's like
some cats don't look smart. This cat looks smart.
I was building some circuits and writing some stuff.
Yeah.
And they also have a nice scope.
This cat's doing some like
rep cat.
Rep cat. This cat's like
cat.
Looking at cat stuff, and then clearly this cat is
laser cat.
Laser cat.
Watch out for this cat.
Yeah, this cat is hiding in the laser.
What I like about this is it goes like zoop, 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 beep, cat done.
Yeah.
The cat looks like he's got laser in his eyes too. And that's another really nice laser.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
you have nice equipment.
Yeah, at the bottom of some of the cats have nice stuff.
This cat has better lives than I do.
Yeah. So if you go to adafruit.com/cats of engineering and you have a cat and
you can put your cat on some equipment that is more expensive than what I have, then we gotta take a photo.
If you have a cat, they tend to get into things, and they like engineering. And I'm not saying if you want to be a great engineer, you have to be a cat. I'm just saying all the great engineers have cats. That's true. It's just, it is what it is.
We should see what is the most expensive equipment you can get a picture of a cat being lazy on. Because that, like, we had the Pick and Place.
Our old Pick and Place was
like $30,000.
The
cat was just hanging out
and he jumped on top of it.
Yeah, all the time.
When it was in our apartment.
Yeah.
Now we're
this is like a $20,000 laser cutter.
Yeah, Mosfet is not allowed in the Adafruit factory here.
Also, the Pick and Place is much larger.
And a Pick and Place is like 2 tons now. So.
Okay. Anyway, send in your cats.
Yeah.
Send in the cats. Where do they send it to? Cats of Engineering?
Yeah, at the bottom of the page, it's a form that you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Or just go to like Cats of Engineering. I don't even know the address, but like if you Google for like Adafruit Cats of Engineering.
No, it's adafruit.com/cats of engineering.
/Cats of Engineering.
Yeah. Anyways.
And then all in word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's mailbag time. Packet of mailbag. Here he is. Every week we get letters from customers, fans, people around the world. This is from Dave. I ordered the experimentation kit Arduino and I'm addicted. Thank you. I've heard lots of people talking about Arduino, but I think most people are intimidated because they don't know electronics or are afraid of programming. I've been a systems engineer since 1992 and have several web apps and iPhone apps.
Awesome. So and now you can build iPhones.
Yep. All right. Next up, in the job boards, Tinkerbee is looking for, or they're offering, affordable PCB assembly in the good old USA.
Yeah, they got a Pick and Place.
They'll assemble anything they say. They do short runs. A lot of people ask us about this, that they want small runs.
Yeah.
And they want to keep their Pick and Place machine running over the summer.
That's smart. I mean, maybe they can help pay it off. Like we got our laser cutter. We spent, how much was the laser cutter? It was like $15,000.
Yeah.
And then we did lasering of iPods and iPhone. Well, yeah, iPods, iPhones, Android devices, laptops were really popular, like book bag, whatever. We lasered anything, like Nintendo DSs, and for like $40 to $100 each.
Yeah.
And
we paid it off. Yeah, I mean, we bought it in cash, but it was kind of an investment. And then that's kind of what we do with stuff. We haven't taken loans or funding for Adafruit, so every time we buy equipment, we like to try to make the equipment, make sense and pay for it. So we did that with the laser cutter. So this is cool. So in the maker world, people need short run PCB assembly.
Yeah.
And so check out the Adafruit Jobs Board. Adafruit Job Board, if you're a maker and have skills, or if you're a company and want to offer your services up, you can put it there. Or if you're a company who's looking to hire great people, you can put it there. And we have we look at each one.
And it's free.
It's free, and we don't let any spam.
No spam.
No riffraff.
No riffraff.
Yeah.
No weird brokers or whatever.
Yeah, no headhunters or recruiters.
No headhunters.
Okay, next up, Time Travel Tuesday. Every Tuesday we do a time travel article, some things from Maker Past. So, in 1936, Lucite, commonly known today as buckyl gas, began commercial production 77 years ago today at the DuPont chemical plant. DuPont's been around.
They're around.
They're around. They're just like, they're still just doing stuff. All right, next up, 1911. Wilhelmina Flemington, group of a part of Edward Pinkerton's infamous harem, really a group of women who performed calculations and research, were the first to identify white dwarfs. She died 102 years ago this week. Started out as the maid at Pinkerton's house and gradually moved up to clerk, and then performing mathematical calculations for his work, and finally conducting research of her own. She also notably discovered the Horsehead Nebula in 1888.
That's cool.
It's good stuff.
Good, go Wilhelmina.
And then
Wilhelmina.
1819, the first bicycle was seen on the streets of New York City. Officials were quick to ban these dangerous velocipedes from public places and on the sidewalks of the city. Now, that brings up something that's happening right now in New York. So in New York, there's about to be bicycles everywhere.
Yeah, the city bike thing is like today or yesterday they started actually putting the bicycles in.
Yeah.
They said May, and of course it's like the end of May, so now it's...
Yeah, well, they have till May 31st. So in all in New York City, you'll be able to rent bicycles. Yeah,
you need to sign up.
Yeah.
Maybe we should sign up. You get a card, and then you can rent bikes by the day.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Very cheap, $25.
Some neighborhoods are trying to get them banned. You know, it's funny that everyone doesn't want cars, but then when bicycles comes along, they don't want that.
They don't want anything.
We're interested in it because there's tech. There might be GPSs inside these things.
I think there must be.
Yeah, there's they have to have these power stations. There's a solar tube thing.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of neat things
there's
that go along
cool
with
tech.
this. Yeah,
there's some cool tech.
Yeah. All right. Next up, let's do the Adafruit Learning System. Adafruit Learning System. How many tutorials are in the Adafruit Learning System, Lady Ada?
Like
do you know?
230.
It's a lot. So this week, you could talk about these.
Okay. We had a massive color sensor tutorial that covers both the floor color sensor and the breadboard style color sensor. They're basically the same, just one's round and one has a regulator and is 5-volt compliant. One isn't, just a smaller. I wrote some great library code for it. This tutorial shows you how to use it and how to hold fruit up to it. In fact, this project, which we'll be talking about shortly, also uses the floor color sensor. The neat thing about this sensor is it's extremely sensitive, has an IR cut filter, so it doesn't see light that humans don't recognize, so the color is like very true. And you can use it for lux calculation, light color temperature calculation, as well as, of course, just like RGB color. And it has a neutral white, like ultra bright LED that you can control via the LED pin. With the Flora, there's also LED, and you can control it with the interrupt pin. And one of the cool things that Bill, who wrote this tutorial, added was also there's a little bit of code to, say you're holding up your handy, diagonal cutters. There's a processing sketch that you can run that will echo that color on the screen, so you can hold up like something like green or something, blue. And when you hold up the color sensor, the box on the screen will turn that color, and so it's a really good way to debug what you're doing, and also to grab color from a live object.
Yeah.
If you're like, what is this hex color?
Your scarf is a color-changing scarf that we're going to be showing in a video shortly.
Yeah.
But this one, you put the sensor up to your hair.
Yes.
And then it matched your color of your hair.
It's pink.
So,
it's like a kind of magenta color. It's good.
Yeah, it works. Okay.
So yeah, that's a tutorial. I mean, we released the sensors a couple weeks ago, but now we have a really good detailed tutorial about it too.
Yeah. Next up.
We also have
BeagleBone tutorial.
Yeah, we have a basic BeagleBone tutorial. We wanted to start doing tutorials for this, and this tutorial is all about installing operating system. And the off chance that you damage your Angstrom install, here's how to put it back on the MMC. So it's not an SD card anymore; it's an MMC. So you do have to sort of, it's not just like copy onto an SD card, you plug it in, you have to do a couple extra steps. And Justin Cooper wrote this awesome tutorial.
Yeah.
We also have we have a tutorial about the LPC chip.
Yeah, I didn't grab that one.
We forgot it, but I'll talk about it when we talk about LPC.
Okay. All right, next up.
More tutorials. So many tutorials, you can't keep track of them.
Wearable Wednesday.
It's too many.
So Wearable Wednesday this week, really cool project. So this is a chameleon scarf. We had a little logo, by the way. Bruce did this with us. The chameleon scarf is something we had talked about this a long time ago when we were walking around New York City because we were talking about color sensors. And one of the things that we thought would be neat is color-changing clothing in lots of different ways. And so this week, Becky has her Wearable Wednesday video. And I'm going to show a photo of Becky, and we'll show the video, and then we'll get back to this in a second.
Okay.
But the idea is that in the future, and well, the future is here now. There it is again. Keeps happening.
Every second.
Yeah. Colors of clothing may not just be something that is permanent. It may be something that is a little flexible. It might be something that can react. There's thermochromic inks that would adjust the temperature, and that's some things that you can do. But what if it could react to actual color? So your shoes matched your scarf.
Yeah.
Or, scarf matched, or in your case, your scarf matches your hair. So here's a photo of Becky. You can see scarf matches the color there. And then here's a video.
Ever wish the clothes in your wardrobe could change color to match each other? While color-changing fabric may still be something out of sci-fi books like Snow Crash, you can build this color-changing, light-up chameleon scarf with Adafruit's Flora color sensor. Just shine it on the color you want to capture, and 12 sewable pixels inside reflect the color to match. The whole circuit is sewn on a piece of ribbon, with conductive thread held in place using a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. The ruffly scarf diffuses the light, and you can make yours from an old sweater like in this tutorial on craft. Just fold and pin a long strip of gauzy knit fabric along its edges, then zigzag over some equally long threads to create a drawstring. Gather up the fabric along these threads and stitch the seam to your ribbon circuit. Turn the whole scarf right side out to hide and protect the circuit while letting the light shine through. Click the link in the description below for the full step-by-step on the Adafruit learning system. Build your own chameleon scarf, or purse, or vest, or anything really, and then share your projects with us in the weekly show and tell on Google+. And don't miss a new episode of Wearable Wednesday. Subscribe right now to the Adafruit channel on YouTube so you never miss
All right, next up. Oh, you want to go here?
Yeah,
Okay,
so I thought I would just demo it.
So,
So
you want to demo? All right.
the way it works is that every time you turn it on, it waits a couple seconds before it samples the color of whatever it is that it's
So
next to.
the lid was green, and then it turned
So now
itself
it's green, and then do you want me to do another color?
Yeah, do your head.
Like I thought I'd do blue
Okay, let's see. Sometimes
to match this accessory.
yeah, let's see.
So yeah, it blinks, and it tells you you have 3 seconds to hold it up,
yeah.
and then
Oh, neat. I got
now
it.
it's blue.
Yeah, and this was the color it sampled.
yeah, that's pretty close.
That's really close.
Yeah, so it's really a color sensor. So if you wanted to
Yeah.
match something,
And we kind of kept this basic because we wanted to illustrate a certain point. But you could do something with a vest. You could do something with a tie. You could do something with a belt.
a dress.
Yeah, and
the whole dress
you could
shape
diffuse
on.
this even more. You can add more LEDs.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff. If you could, it doesn't have to be a scarf. It can be an entire dress that changes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens if it senses black? What does it do?
It'll just find the closest. It tries to calculate the closest color. It doesn't do color saturation check. But we could add that where it has to be saturated a certain amount. It just does the best it can to guess. Like, black, if you light it up, it's actually, there's no such thing as black. Like, clothing isn't black. It's actually extremely dark purple.
Yeah.
So it might show up like a purplish color.
Yeah.
But
So-
high saturation colors
Yeah.
are the best.
I think it's going to be neat because there's a lot of things. We're making a little color sensor musical instrument, so it'll play music based on the color it sees. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All sorts of fun stuff you can do. All right, next up, 3D Thursday. Every Thursday, we have a lot of things in the world of 3D. I picked out 2 things this week.
Yeah.
First up, I like this thing that
the spikes print. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
like the thing that 3D printer folks do. So what they do, they've come up with like, hey, here's something to test how good your 3D printer is. So
Yeah.
it's the same file, and then you go around the different 3D printers, and you can see the quality and how good it is.
That object print is really good.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. So check that out on the site. Also, Chris Courtwright posted up photos of his 3D printed
awesome
RFID board wand that he printed out on a MakerBot. So it holds the RFID breakout board, and it lights up. And this is to scan in horses.
Horse tack.
No
horses. It isn't just horse tack.
Well, I mean...
I don't think they chip the horses.
I mean, but the tack is on the horses.
True.
You're scanning in horses.
I mean, technically, it's leather thing on the horse.
Right, but those things don't go around on their own. You wouldn't scan those without a horse.
Yeah, maybe you would. If you're done, you'd return it and you'd put it back into the...
Really?
Yeah, back
I think it's scanned with the horse.
You just want to scan ponies.
No, I think it goes with... Because it's a handle, so you can kind of reach... I think,
yeah, because it's high up.
Yeah, because it's on a horse.
All right.
I'm just saying. I think it's a horse scanner.
Nay.
Yeah, it's a horse scanner. Okay. So, anyways, he 3D printed it out, and it's really cool. One of the best projects.
Yeah, this is intense. I like it. It's just like a handle. It's got grips. It's watertight. It's water resistant.
Yeah. And then this is all printed on a MakerBot. We have a few more of the MakerBots left.
They're in a pile over there.
Yeah, we have a few left. We have this limited edition Adafruit one. If you use the code COLOR, you can get a MakerBot for 10% off, and you still get all the stuff that we include. This is one of those times where I always say it because it's like, it's not a great, these discounts, like we don't really make a lot on the MakerBot, and so the discounts aren't like wonderful, and we also do free UPS ground shipping. So if you're ever thinking about getting a MakerBot, this is actually kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and they're good. We like them.
Yeah, but this is a really good printer.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that I think Chris Courtwright, his stuff is kind of one of the better examples of what you can do with a. You just love that scarf. Of what you can do with the MakerBot. I mean, he really pushes the boundaries. I mean, in these beautiful press fit things, they just come out great.
This is really nice. It's just super professional. I mean, this is actually exactly what a MakerBot's for.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Pi Day.
Pi.
Okay, Pi Day. Pi Day is intense. There's so many things for Pi. I just have to pick like one each week now.
You just pick one thing.
Yeah, so this is one that I wanted to mention. So a lot of people ask, hey, where do I get Raspberry Pi t-shirts? I want to get a Raspberry Pi this. I want to get a Raspberry Pi that. And there's actually only there wasn't a place until recently. So the
Pi Store.
Yeah, the Raspberry Pi Foundation.
Swag.
They have it's the authentic swag since 12, and it's all the stuff. And they teamed up with Pi Maroni, who makes those beautiful cases. So if you ever wanted to support the Pi Foundation and you wanted to pick up a shirt or a mug or a hat or a bear or a sticker or a mouse pad, the Pi Foundation, this helps them.
Yeah.
And this helps their educational mission. They actually fund all sorts of projects, all sorts of development stuff. And Liz and Edmund are fantastic, and the folks at Pi Maroni who run it are fantastic. So, anyways, that's our Pi.
And it's a beautiful logo.
Yeah, that's our Pi thing for the week. And then next up, make sure to check out the Adafruit Community Corner.
Massive.
Yeah, on Fridays we post up the Community Corner. It's a snapshot of all the things that are going on in the Adafruit community on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google+. We're up to 52,000 people in the artists, engineers, hackers, and designers. We have a community where people post up their artwork, their electronics, their engineering. What we're starting to see is that people who are posting up artwork are getting interested in electronics. They're like, oh, I just saw this place I post my artwork. I saw that I can get like conductive ink and I can add LEDs to my art. Things like that.
Cool.
Mind-blowing to watch, and they meet each other. And now with like all these changes, so Google Plus changed their interface recently, and it's a little complicated at first, but I'm starting to see people kind of splinter off into like hangout groups, or then they'll do sharing. So it's really cool. Okay. Anyways, all right.
Intense.
Yeah. So before we get off to new products, the code is color. 10% off everything in the store.
We're American, so there's no U.
Yeah. It's a cable.
Which cable?
It's a right
angle cable. Okay. Yeah, I'll show this on the overhead actually.
Okay.
Because it's
there's two photos.
Yeah, there's photos. Photos are good because it shows that it's a right angle.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this thing.
So, okay, here we are. So, the nice thing about this cable is it's a right angle cable, and we wanted this for actually a future project we're going to do that needs to come out of the Raspberry Pi and not, like, get in the way of stuff. But it's a micro USB cable. It's a really high quality cable. We got, you see, it's actually written on the thing. It's, shoot, what was the gauge measurement? 24 wire gauge power and 28 wire gauge data. So that means it doesn't drop a lot of voltage even at high currents, such as those used by microcomputers. And it's a really lovely cable, and it's 5 feet long.
That's a nice case that's in.
That's our case.
All right.
Just showing that it works with cases and stuff, like, you know, and it comes out nicely.
Okay, next up, another cable.
Yeah, this one's kind of boring. This is an S-Video cable. We had a bunch left over from Fusebox and Oozeboxes, and if you buy an Oozebox kit, you might want one of these cables. They have the 4-DIN S-Video connector.
Yeah.
That's it. They're like 9 feet long. They're good S-Video cables. I figured, you know, handy if you buy an Oozebox kit from us or something.
Yeah. Next up, ARM kit.
This is the LPC 810 mini starter kit.
Yeah.
And the actual LPC 810 is there in the corner on the left. It's kind of small, but it's like over there, or over there to the left. It's a 8-pin DIP ARM Cortex M0 Plus chip. So it's 12 megahertz. It's got like 4K of flash, 1K of RAM. It's got a built-in bootloader that's serial, which is really neat. It's got SPI I2C UART on a pin matrix, so you can change around the pins. It can run at 3 volts. It's just like a really intense 32-bit processor in an 8-DIP package, and it's kind of funny because it's like rare to see a chip this powerful actually in an 8-DIP.
Why do you think they're doing this? Because everything's surface mount. Why in the world are they doing
You know,
this?
there's still a big market for extremely low-cost goods that just need a small microcontroller, and they use wave soldering. Not it's hand placed. There's still some countries and some manufacturers where it's actually less expensive for them to do hand placement than to invest in.
So would this be for like developing countries? They would still maybe have through hole because it's more people labor versus machine labor.
Yeah, there are situations in which it's less expensive. It's not because they love hobbyists. I really don't think so. There is still this market. You know, I still open up consumer goods, and I do see a lot of through hole parts. Like I still do. Yeah. Especially capacitors, because they are less expensive. Through hole capacitors are less expensive, and some chips are too. So this is 60 cents. And K-Town really liked this chip, and so he's like, let's do a little mini kit. So we include some LEDs, 2 resistors, 2 buttons, 2 caps, a 3-volt regulator, and this cable that you can't really see the whole thing.
Is this a powerful chip? I mean,
it's fairly powerful. It's a 32-bit processor.
Yeah.
And you can like rearrange all the pins, and it runs at 12 megahertz on 3 volts.
Yeah.
And it's a Cortex M0.
It's like the little AT Tiny chips are fun too.
It's similar, yeah. Those are 8-bit. This is similar. It doesn't have as much flash. But it also has like a built-in I2C, which is like the AT Tiny, and built-in UART and built-in SPI.
And what do you use to program these things?
You can use the cable.
Yeah. Oh, I mean on the software side.
K-Town wrote a tutorial on how to use GCC.
So you can use open source stuff?
Yeah, it's all open source, and he even wrote a really big open source library for the LPC 810 that like blinking LEDs and like do some basic stuff to get started, like reading a button and stuff like that. So there's a tutorial learning system which we released on Friday that also shows you how to like use this cable and basically use open source software to get started with this chip. There's some people who just really like ARM cores. If you like ARM cores, like the AT1085 is a really fun, cool chip. It has a little bit more flash, but and it might be a little bit more lower power because it's only 8-bit. Yeah. And it's lower speeds, but this one has a built-in bootloader. That's cool. It has I2C. That's cool.
And if you're using, just program in C? Like, what do you use?
Yeah, you use C.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, just use ARM GCC.
Huh. So you could probably make some, like, little low-cost little ARM projects with this thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you want the 32-bit, like, power, I mean, it probably has, like, full multiply and stuff in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Cortex M0 Plus core. It's a low power.
Faster than my old Mac.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well,
That's cool.
it doesn't have as many pins.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting chip, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. It's so weird. It's like an 8-bit pin dip, but you can do a lot, so check it out.
Yeah. Get them before ARM realizes what they're doing, I guess. All right.
I'd like to see what products this would be used in, but there might be some products that
Okay.
used for.
Next up, what are these, Lady Ada?
These are some more SMT breakouts. We had them in 44 pin. We had them in 32 pin. We have them in 28 pin, and now we have them in 48 pin. And 48 pin is actually let's go darker so it doesn't reflect as much. The 48 pin, and it's very fine pitch, and it's QFN on this side, and there's a hole in the middle because there's the center pad is sometimes connected to ground or sometimes it's a heat sink, but you can't actually, you'd use vias, and so we just brought it out to the other side, and then you can connect a wire to it or something, and on this side it's a QFP, and it's 48 pin QFP, 48 pin QFN, and you get 3 of them.
Yeah, the feedback that we've heard is up until recently, no, Adafruit we didn't make these, and people would have to buy these from other places, and they were so expensive.
They are usually really expensive, which I don't understand why. Like it should be.
Yeah.
Like
So how much do we charge for these?
We charge $6 for a set of 3.
$6 for a set of 3. Someone had posted up and they said, I had to pay like $20 for one.
Yeah, they can be really expensive, especially if you buy them from DigiKey. I don't completely understand why, but the DigiKey ones are like, the surfboards are just really expensive.
Yeah.
But these are nice, and you can do you get twice the value because there's a QFN and QFP, so you can use either one.
This is one of the things that you showed me. So you had your folder of projects all the way back from school, and you're like, one day I'm going to go and make low-cost versions of these because it was so expensive.
When I was at MIT, we used to buy surfboards from DigiKey, and they were so expensive that like one day I just got really pissed off. And in Eagle, I just made like all the breakouts, and this was in 2005.
Yeah.
And I still have that folder, and so all these SMT breakouts are actually the same. Basically the same files from 2005.
Yeah.
And they were like an Eagle 4, like 3, like Eagle 3 or Eagle
Still
4.
opened.
It's still open, yeah. And I was like, this is great. So
yeah.
I didn't actually do a 48 pin. I think I did a 44 and a 32, but because I couldn't solder these by hand back then, but now I can.
Yeah.
More skill.
All right, next up, we've got some chips and some LEDs. I don't know if you want to show both of these at the same time.
Yeah,
but...
sure.
All right.
But then these photos are they can show it much clearer.
Yeah.
These are both of the same family. These are the NeoPixel LEDs. So we have like the strips and like the fluoropixels, and we have the SMT chip version, the SOIC chip, and you also have the LEDs that have the chip embedded inside of them. So they're the same protocol, and they do basically the same thing, but one has an LED with the chip inside of it, and one is just the chip.
Yeah.
So actually, it's actually a little easier to just talk about it. So the first one is
Oh, this one.
this.
You're going to go this one.
The first one is, this is the WS 2811 LED driver chip. So it can drive 3 LEDs. Usually it's just an RGB LED. This is an 8 SOP, 8 SOIC, so it's pretty easy to solder. You can use our breakout boards, or you can make your own breakout board. We have it in our Eagle library. It's 1 pin chainable, so you can chain these together. They are powered off of like 5 volts or so, like 5, 6, 7 volts. They can drive 1 RGB LED. They have a built-in clock, and you can use any microcontroller that can do like 8 megahertz or faster precision timing. Can't be used by something like a Raspberry Pi because it's running a Linux. It's not real time, but an Arduino works really great. We have Arduino code. Mbed probably works. PIC would also work. AVR. Any of these like real time chips would work. You probably could get it working in Linux, but you'd have to write a driver, and I don't really feel like writing a driver. So if somebody does, that'd be awesome. And then, so that's if you want to use your own LED, like you're like, oh, I have like a big diffuse LED and I want to use it and make my own like smart pixels. But if you want to go easier, actually for the same price, you can get the 5050 LED NeoPixel, and these are little 5mm or 5mm RGB LEDs with 6 pads on either side. And the chip, you can actually see it. It's the little black square in the middle there, the little rectangle with the gold threads coming off of it. And that's the same chip as before, except it's actually embedded in the LED. And similarly, you power it with 5 volts, and you have data in, data out. You can chain them. We sell these on strips. We use them in the floor pixels. They're really handy if people want to make their own stuff. Using these pixels, you can put a bunch of them on a board, or we need a project.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest way to add an RGB LED. So you get 10 of each. Actually, they actually are the same price, which is kind of funny. Like buying the chips from the factory, they're the same price. So you get 10 for $5, so it's 50 cents each. So it's like the same price as a normal LED.
Yeah.
But you have the controller chip inside of them, and then our Eagle library has both of these. And we used both the Eagle. They're both tested. We've used them in a bunch of projects, so it's really easy. You just pick these up and you just lay them on your board, and you can solder these pretty easily as well. Pads are fairly big.
Okay. Next up, speaking of Blinky LEDs, look at this.
Here's Blinky.
Yeah. You want to do a demo?
I am going to do a demo, but I have to plug it in.
Plug it in, okay. So this is the NeoPixel.
So this is the, no, it's Blinky. This is the NeoPixel strip that's 30 LEDs per meter. So we are now carrying both the 60 LED per meter and 30, so 30 is less dense, but it loses less power, and it's a lot less expensive. So this is like $16 a meter, which is pretty cheap.
Go to the big
yeah, go to the big screen. So this is, you can actually kind of see each LED separately in the strip. So it's about 30 LEDs per meter, digitally controlled. I have an Arduino just controlling it. It's less expensive than the 6 LED per meter, and it uses less power. And if you don't need the density, then this strip is really great. And yeah, you can control every LED separately, which is quite nice. You can accidentally unplug it. Oops. There you go. Holding up. And yeah, it's super bright. And it uses those LEDs I just showed you, but they're already on a strip ready to go. So you can just cut this, solder it. It's in a weather-resistant rubber coating.
Could you put this in the scarf if you wanted to?
You could, but it's a little, it's rubbery. It wouldn't be as soft. So this uses thread, so it's perfectly soft. It doesn't have any stiffness to it.
Okay. And then we do have a couple other photos. For
yeah.
folks
So
to
this
see
is
if
the
you
back, just showing what the back looks like, and this is the front.
Yeah.
So there's an LED, and you see there's no chip. Because the chip is inside, driver chip, because the chip is inside of the LED itself.
How many pins do you need to drive the whole?
1 pin.
1 pin.
And our library.
Yeah. Okay. And then last but not least, kind of the star of the show this week, this board is shipping. This is a big deal.
Yay!
For the folks who know, they know what this is, and they know it's a big deal. But for the folks who don't know, you can explain it.
This is the VLSI VS1053 codec chip. It's actually funny, I used this chip for the Minty, I think I used this chip for the Minty MP3, which is a project I designed in 2005. So there's a lot of like 2005-esque projects I'm finally getting out. So this is a board that I made something very similar. Maybe I'll pull it out one day. It's got the codec chip on the right there, and then it's got level shifters, and it's got a micro SD socket. So this is kind of everything you need. Just add a microcontroller, and you've got a music player, MP3 player. It's an MP3 decoding chip. It can do MP3, wave, both the compressed and uncompressed, Ogg Vorbis, AAC, WMA, and then like FLAC if you have a software plug-in. Yeah, like you can basically do like nearly every popular music encoding. And it can actually also encode audio. So it can decode audio, and it can also encode Ogg Vorbis, which I wrote a whole bunch of code for it. So you can record it and actually have example code. I don't have the demo for that, but I do have example code for it. You got an electret mic and like 2 or 3 little passives around it, and you can actually use it as a recording module as well. And what this chip does, it's actually a DSP, this thing that I'm not really into. But it does all the stuff on the chip. So decoding MP3 actually requires a fair bit of processor capability. You actually need like a fairly good processor to do it. An Arduino or Basic Stamp or even an Mbed doesn't have that ability to decode, even I don't even think a propeller could do it. You actually need quite a bit of horsepower and ability to do mathematical calculations. This chip is really nice. You just kind of stream the data to it. You just open up an MP3 file and you send it the data, and it will automatically decode it for you and do all the decoding. So it'll do that with Ogg Vorbis or Wave or MP3 or any of these formats, and so this is kind of handy if you want to make like a sampler or a project that plays audio, or like, you press a button and it makes a sound, an effects box.
Yeah.
So this is a really nice chip, and I kind of broke out all the extras, and we have example code for it. It has 8 GPIO, so even though it uses a lot of pins to control it, you do need like 6 pins to control it. You get 8 pins, free, and we have example code for like reading and writing, so you can use those pins for buttons, for example. It's 5-volt compliant, so that you can use it safely with a microcontroller like an Arduino that uses 5-volt logic without any problems. It's got onboard regulators. It comes with all sorts of cool stuff like a headphone jack, some header. It's just it's all good fun.
Yeah. Can you use it with speakers?
Yes, I will even show it with speakers. Let me.
There must be a demo coming up
there's
soon.
a demo coming up, so let me actually.
Can we go to the overhead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me bring this up. Unfortunately, the compressor's going off. Whoa, lights in the wrong place. So this is the okay. So this is the MP3 decoding board. This is an Arduino, and I'm just powering it from the wall. And I have a micro SD card in here with one of the free Ogg Vorbis tracks that is used to demo Ogg Vorbis. And I connected it through this headphone jack, which I have externally. And we did that on purpose. I didn't want to put a headphone jack on it in case you wanted to wire up a headphone jack elsewhere. And I can turn it up. So these are basically just like this power speakers we have in our store. You can also use it with, we have an amplifier board that works really well. We have example code for all this stuff, so it's really plug and play. It's quite easy to get going with this board.
I saw other boards out there, and they just, they said, oh, the chip does recording, but there was no one wrote any software, so no one ever.
I'm the only one who wrote the code.
There was no examples. Yeah, no.
Because I have to build the tester, and how am I going to test if the boards can record? So each time we test the board, it records audio through the microphone.
Yeah.
So you can get the microphone and line in. So
does it delete the audio afterwards, or do we leave it on there? Like when we test the recording?
every time it overwrites it.
Yeah. Because that'd be funny, little sights and sounds or sounds of Adafruit. You'd probably hear it beeping that the test passed, right?
Yeah, it beeps when the test passed. No, the SD card would fill up too fast. But yeah, so it's really easy to use. You can use to put audio on it. You just take the SD card and you put it into your computer, just like any other SD card.
There's a lot of questions about this, so we're gonna end new products. This is over.
And
the new products is over. Thank you, everyone. New products are over, and then we're just gonna jump straight to the questions. People have questions about.
We can have like background music.
Yeah, we can have some background music. Okay. Can you do text-to-speech?
No, no, you can't, because text-to-speech actually requires a different kind of processor that takes the text, converts it to phonemes, and then plays the phonemes really fast. You could, if you did the text to phoneme conversion, you could play it, but it would not sound natural because you have to bridge the audio in a certain way. For that, we suggest the EMIC chip, which does text-to-speech, and it's smart because the problem with text-to-speech is the way we type things out is not how they're pronounced. Right, like the word enough is spelled totally weird in English compared to how it's pronounced. So if you want your text-to-speech to not say and to actually say enough instead, it has to be fairly smart. And so that's why you need a chip that has a whole rule table of what the phonemes should be, et cetera, et cetera. It's actually quite a bit of work, which is why the EMIC chip is a sort of standalone text-to-speech only thing. However, what you can do is if you have certain amounts of speech you want it to say, like you want to build a talking clock, you can just record, it is, and then 1, 2, 3, etc., a clock, and then 30, and then minutes, and then you record all those words, and then you can just play those in order. That's one way to do it. If you don't need text-to-speech, you just need it to say words. You can kind of copy and paste all these words together to make it say it is 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon or whatever. Okay,
can the GPIO be triggered to play sound when switched, and that would avoid using a microcontroller?
At this time, no. The chip by default requires a microcontroller. The chip can be reprogrammed with an IDE to have the GPIO directly trigger it. However, there's no example code, and like the IDE is kind of tricky to use. So I'm going to try to figure out if I can do that. But it's not built in. Although it's something I'm interested in.
Okay. Next up, what is the Arduino doing in that demo?
The Arduino is it initializes the chip by like it sends the command, says like wake up and like this is the volume I want, because you can set the volume and bass and treble digitally. It opens up the SD card using the SD library. It looks for the file named like track1.vorbis or whatever, and then it reads the data off the card and then it shoves it onto the chip. So it actually kind of takes the data in and out, and it does that redirection.
Okay. Next up, would I be able to use your ePaper dev board to hack the display off an off-the-shelf reader?
Probably not. They're probably completely different protocols.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the small displays and the big displays are quite different.
All right. I would like to power a 10 by 10 centimeter EL panel along with 8 feet of EL wire using a single battery power pack supply and a single inverter. Is that possible? Can you recommend an inverter and battery pack?
How much EL?
10 centimeters by 10 centimeters and then 8 foot long of EL wire.
You might be able to use our 4 AAA alkaline battery pack. That might work. 8 feet of EL isn't that much, so it might be okay.
Yeah.
Might be dim.
Next up, have we found a good source for PLA filament? We're actually not really looking right now. I mean,
yeah, we're not. We don't really sell filament.
We're considering some more 3D stuff, but there seems to be lots of good sources out there right now.
Squeeze some corn.
Yeah.
Really hard.
But if someone knows of a fantastic one that has great reseller margins, we should
that'd be great.
let us know. Next up, how do I get to I2C multi-byte read, but not from register with Raspberry Pi?
We have a really good I2C library that K-Town wrote. It's in our GitHub repository. I don't know if it does multi-byte reads in one read, but you can check out what we did. It at least does 2-byte reads, because I know we had to do that. The I2C core for Linux is kind of screwed up. It's not like microcontroller.
Okay.
It doesn't work the way like Arduino does.
Next
it's
up,
different.
What's the difference between the Flora versus normal color sensor?
The Flora sensor is much smaller, and the form factor is a little bit different, so it's chainable with I2C. It also doesn't have a regulator or 5-volt safe inputs because the Flora is 3-volt only.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's very similar.
Next up, what do you recommend for speech recognition? Speech rec.
I don't actually have a recommendation right now. I don't know of a good system for speech recognition, but the Raspberry Pi might have something because it's powerful enough, and there's Linux speech rec software. I don't know how good it is.
Yeah.
But it's probably your best bet.
Okay.
For like true speech recognition.
Next up, are all your orders now shipping in Adafruit Black? Love it. Well, first off, thank you.
Adafruit Black is a trademark of the Adafruit LLC.
Yeah, we are shipping a lot of things in black boxes now.
I'm wearing Adafruit Black.
And we're going to be moving all of our boxes to black. It's been something we've been working on for a while.
All black. What could be more black than these boxes? None. None more black.
Just more boxes.
More boxes.
Yeah. Next up, I just recently bought a couple Nixie tubes. Do you have any Nixies for yourself? I just recently bought some. Don't know how to drive them with my RPI or my Raspberry Pi or Arduino. Any suggestions? There's tons of resources online.
There's a guy who always shows up in the show and tell and has Nixies. So check out our show and tell archive and find the one with the guy with the Nixies, because he has like Nixie Shields and Nixie Raspberry Pi projects and like Nixie. I don't have any Nixie projects going on, and I don't think we'll ever really sell Nixies because they're just really rare.
Yeah, high power.
They're high power and they're fairly rare.
Can I read-write I2C devices on an Uno? 2 I2C devices on an Uno.
There is a software I2C if they have the same address, and you need to have 2 separate buses. There is a soft I2C library, so you'd have to port the second one to the software I2C, and it probably would work okay. I haven't really used it.
Okay. How would you recommend programming Arduino via Raspberry Pi GPIO?
I don't know if that's possible. You know, the easiest thing is just to plug the Arduino right into the Raspberry Pi USB port. That's known to work. I know a lot of people have done that. I mean, there's a USB port on the Raspberry Pi. Just plug it in. Use a hub.
For speech recognition, people are suggesting EasyVR speech recognition.
Yeah, I haven't used it.
Okay. Here's a request. Someone wants us to make internet things like community service so people can share their data from their devices with community.
Okay.
Yeah, also check out Zively.
Zively.
That used to be Cosm, which used to be PatchBay.
Which used to be called Pachubi.
Yeah.
Not really.
What do you think of 4D printing when an object is printed with chemicals and folds itself up?
Yeah, it's neat. Right, it's a good idea. Like you could have things that self-assemble.
Yeah, I was watching a video today, and Gershenfeld said that that's the future of programmable materials. So you print out something, and then it self-organizes itself.
Like I can imagine, like it's like you eat a thing, and it like goes into your stomach, and then it like reassembles, and it like can check out your stomach and make sure your stomach's okay. And I can see like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think stents do that, right? When they push a stent in through like your like artery in your armpit, and it goes to your heart and then expands or something.
There's all sorts of medical things
cool
there.
stuff.
Yeah. Someone wants to know what did we consider a really cool 3D printing project. We actually posted one up on the blog this week. It was a 3D printed part of a lung for a child. That's
cool.
Really neat. Like that.
Well, what did they print it out of? Like PLA or what?
I don't know what it was printed out of, but they were able to print out a part that was needed for it.
I hope they were using that like super sparkly like the material that company, that English company that makes like sparkly 3D materials.
All right, a couple more questions, and then we're going to do trivia questions. Do you have any ideas of a very small connector to use as cool LEDs for earrings? You could pull the wires for the chip through the cutoff syringe needle, but how would you connect them behind the ear?
Well, I have no idea what they're asking.
Any ideas for a very small connector to use as cool LEDs for earrings? Oh, the little tiny LEDs that we have.
Oh, well,
and that would be the front of the earring, and then you'd have to put wires through the backing and power them and do a microcontroller. That's pretty tough.
That's really tough. I don't know. I give up.
Yeah, that is pretty tough.
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Maybe a stud? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about jewelry findings. Maybe Becky knows that one.
Okay.
Becky question.
Will we be releasing more example code for the PM532 boards to show other functions of communication boards?
We kind of got everything. We actually spent a lot of time trying to do some more complicated stuff, and we ran out of processor ability and like RAM ability on the Uno. But right now, I think we have nearly everything really important wrapped up. Like we're the only company I think ever that has written code that allows you to program the card from microcontroller to be like a smart card, so you can like have a URL on it, like that the encoding. It's actually like took us quite a while to write that code. Yeah. And I think like we're cleaning that code up, but I think that's pretty much all we've been working on lately. Okay, these are great questions tonight. Yes. Trivia question time. Ooh. Trivia question. Yeah, trivia question. We're going to give away an MP3 board. Yeah, you get a VS 1053 codec board so you can play music. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. What are the rules, Lady Ada? Rules are if you've won a fabulous prize from the trivia contest, you can't enter because there's only one winner per lifetime. And it's our lifetime. So even if you came back from the dead, doesn't count. You will get one of our awesome MP3 codec boards. Play Ogg Vorbis if you are into Ogg Vorbis or MP3 or AAC or WMA or whatever. Yeah. The first person with correct spelling wins the prize. What's the question? Question is, how many tutorials are on learn.adafruit.com right now? How many? First person to type up how many there are, and it's only one specific number right now. You win. I'm gonna put in a tutorial just to screw it all up. No. People racing to learn.adafruit.com. Go to learn.adafruit.com. People scrolling to the bottom where it actually says the number. Let's see who gets it. So far, no one's got it. And the number's right on the site, learn.adafruit.com. I'm impressed that no one's actually gone to the site and put in the exact number. You just have to scroll down to the bottom. There you go, Audio Bug. Congratulations, 229. You can read. 229 it is. 229. Congratulations. Email support@adafruit.com and you get the MP3 board. Yes. It's the best. All right. I spent 6 months on this design. It's good. Okay. It's like actually Cape Town routed this board. This is a double-sided 10 mil board, and it was like, this was a bitch to route. I mean, like, it's kind of intense. Like, it's really hard. Like, it's kind of like, it doesn't need that many parts. There's a lot of signals to route. And we, like, routed them so, like, they all line up really nice. So we put all the GPIOs in order.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Like, it's easy if you don't mind, like, jumbling all the pins.
I can always tell a K-Town design.
Yeah, how can you tell?
There's a certain symmetry.
Aesthetic.
There's a certain symmetry to it that is very appealing.
What I really like is he has this little, little divot here so you can press the micro SD card in and out, but then it doesn't stick out.
Yeah.
It's a really nice design.
Okay, that's the show tonight.
Mounting
We're
holes.
done.
It's lovely mounting holes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you all the folks who stopped in tonight. Thank you, everyone from the show and tell. We'll be here next week, as always. Ask an Engineer coming up on 4 years soon.
Yeah.
4 years.
Okay.
Crazy. What are you're gonna try to see if you can get it to match the color of ginger ale?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh, look, that actually does look like the color of ginger ale. Yeah.
Cool.
It's like golden-y orange. Wow.
It's like a gold. Yeah, it's like a golden color.
That thing works.
Okay.
Okay.
That is the color of my ginger ale. That's pretty good. Look at that. Treat.
Yeah. Okay.
Ginger ale.
Well, thank you, everybody. We have a picture of MOSFET. He's not allowed in the factory. So here's a picture of Cat
In the
hanging
sun.
out. Cat hanging out. And here is your moment of Zener.